Тазан соғақ.
Welcome to Kyrgyzstan, we're Luke and Sabrina, and in today's episode we're going to be exploring the two types of Chinese Muslim cuisine found here in Kyrgyzstan, the Dungan and the Uyghur cuisine, both with their own unique history. They have settled over time here in Kyrgyzstan, and you can find authentic Muslim Chinese food here. It's going to be a great day, so make sure you stay tuned until the end. Let's go eat some Muslim Chinese food. So right now we are in Karakol city, Kyrgyzstan, inside the largest bazaar in the city, and we are looking for a particular food that is famous from the Dungan cuisine called ashlan-fu.
Do you want more spicy?
Yes.
Ну, две такие поострее, одно.
Да. И вот это будете смотреть, да, как накладывается, да? Вы будете его кушать, да? То мы накладем. Глаз остро. Остро поболе.
Ну, можно тесто не ложить там.
Все. Ну, да. Скажут, бедные, много не кладут. Тазан соғақ.
So there's an entire alleyway of this market dedicated to the ashlan-fu, which is a very unique dish using two different types of noodles. So she uses a regular wheat noodle, and then she uses a type of starch noodle that she uses a super interesting device to slice it into the noodle shapes, and then she tops it with three different types of toppings. The first is like an egg and herb and chili mix. The second is just the straight chili, the spice, and then the third is a big thing of probably soy sauce and vinegar mixed together, and it smells really good. So let's dig into the ashlan-fu. So we have our ashlan-fu. Check this out. And one thing I should note right away is that it's served cold. You can feel the bowl is nice and cold, and this is the typical Dungan Chinese Muslim dish here in Kyrgyzstan. You can see the starch there and then the regular noodles, and I've been told that this is quite popular for hangovers because of the spiciness and the vinegar in there, and very cheap, around 40 som. So I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I don't know if I've ever had anything quite like this before. Let's try it out. I'm gonna try just the regular noodles first. The flavor of that broth is really strong with vinegar and chili, obviously, and it's soaked up into the noodles really well, and the coldness is interesting. It's so refreshing. And let me try to get some of these more, the starch noodles here. Oh, those are super soft. Oh, yum. It's actually light in flavor, even though it looked powerful. It's not that spicy. And I love the sourness from the vinegar. Yum. So this dish is actually vegetarian. There's no meat in here at all, just a little bit of egg. And my favorite part is these starch noodles. They have such a nice texture, kind of firm and bouncy. Very unique how it's served cold, like not just room temperature, it's chilled. Hey guys, today's video sponsor is Manta Sleep. So they have reinvented and made the world's best sleeping mask, and I'm gonna give you my honest review of this product. I've been sleeping with it for the last couple of weeks, and I have noticed some serious changes in my life. My mood has been better. I've been getting incredible sleeps, and it's so comfy. I was concerned about it kind of falling off or being uncomfortable when I'm laying down in bed because I sleep on my side, but it's actually all padded the whole way around. And then you get these little cups right here that are removable, and you can change the size. I went with a large size, and it's the perfect travel companion, especially for when you're on the plane. Having this thing on is literally as dark as it gets. It's like sensory deprivation, and super comfy. I don't even know if I'm looking at the camera right now or not. You guys can get 10% off your Manta Sleep sleeping mask with the coupon code Chopstick Travel. I highly recommend it. It's really changed the game if you're sleeping in any kind of not ideal conditions, some light coming in, you work night shifts, maybe you're just traveling on the bus and you want to get a couple hours of sleep, this thing is the way to go. Let's get back to the video. That was really tasty. I love the vinegar spiciness in there, and that is the typical Dungan Chinese. And the Dungans and the Uyghurs are distinctly different. They come from different regions of China with their own unique history, but they both live here in Kyrgyzstan. So we're going now to check out the Dungan Mosque. So this is the Chinese Dungan Mosque here in Karakol. They started building it in 1903 and they finished it in 1906. And although it's a mosque, it very much resembles any Chinese Taoist or Buddhist temple with the architecture, except for the colors are quite different. They're brilliant blue, red, yellow, and green. And I've never seen anything quite like this one. It's very unique. When they first built this mosque, they used no nails whatsoever, but since then it's been renovated and they've added some modern techniques. And one thing I just noticed that's really interesting in the woodwork are these little pumpkins. I've never seen that at a mosque or at any Chinese temple before, and I'm not really sure what it's supposed to symbolize. So if you know, let me know down in the comment box. So we've just arrived to the Uyghur family, also pronounced Uyghur, and we just met them, had some tea, and they're going to be preparing some traditional Uyghur cuisine. So let's go see what they're cooking.
So we're just starting out in the kitchen and we're preparing the first dish now, which is called sugash. Sugash is a type of soup, and in it there are noodles that are homemade, some beef, onions, radish, some cut up vegetables. It's starting to look really good.
Yeah.
And like I said, the noodles are all handmade that are going in the sugash, so that takes a lot of time required to knead out the dough to make it nice and thin before cutting it.
I've found that here in Kyrgyzstan, the noodle making skills are on another level. Everyone seems to know how to make handmade noodles really efficiently and really well.
Ага, сделала.
So we're simultaneously making a couple different dishes here, and they're preparing something called a hot salad. So he started by frying some eggs, and then he fried a little bit of tomato paste and sweet paprika in oil, and then he added a couple different types of peppers to it and a little bit of water, kind of saute that, and then he added finally the shutsai, this grassy looking herb, on top of that, and that's just gonna steam away for a bit, and then he'll add the eggs on top, and that's the salad. It's really exciting for me to get an insight into the Uyghur cuisine and lifestyle, because it's not really accessible for us to go and see that in China, in Xinjiang province. If you watch the news, I'm sure you've seen lots of different things about it. So here in Kyrgyzstan, you can see firsthand how they're retaining their cultures and traditions and cuisine, and that's really heartwarming. I'm glad that they are able to do that here.
All right, first course of the day is the sugash, or Uyghur soup, and look at how delicious that looks. And I've been told that you need to top it with a little bit of cilantro and garlic, which is right over here. You just reach in, excuse me, sprinkle that in, and it is ready to eat. So we got chopsticks. It's been a while since I've used chopsticks. And let's go in for the first bite. Sugash. Wow, that's absolutely delicious. So there's a lot of different textures going on in there from all the chopped up veggies. The handmade noodles are nice and bouncy, and the flavor from that broth, wow. Yeah, it's very rich. It's a nice vegetable broth. Wow, that is really good. All right, so this is another side dish that we're having. This is the hot salad, which was just prepared all together with the eggs and the jusai. And wow, look, there's a nice spicy chili on top. So we're just sitting around with the family now, enjoying the lunch, the first course that we've been given. That was really flavorful. A lot of flavors coming from the pepper. The jusai has kind of steamed away. It's nice and soft now. That is fabulous. Actually, this reminds me a lot of some of the dishes that we've had in Taiwan. So like I said, this broth is really rich. It's got a nice tomato flavor, but you can also add a little bit more vinegar in, make it nice and sour. I think that's a common theme, to have these broths nice and sour. Let's give that a try. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Good addition.
So that was the first course. Really delicious. I love that soup. It's got so much flavor and a little bit spicy. So now we're going to start preparing the manti, which are kind of like little dumplings.
А ты куда-то был? Я уже не... Ну, дестинация что-то.
So behind me is all hands on deck. They have began stuffing the manti, so rolling it out is not an easy task. Getting the dough nice and thin, but not too thin in the middle, and then stuffing it with the stuffing. They're starting with the beef and onion, and then the folding, just pinching the dumpling together, the manti together. It's really difficult, and I know this because I've tried to make it at home, and it never turns out that good. So everybody in the family is helping.
Все готово уже?
So pumpkin manti, this might be the most unique type of manti that we've ever tried. Have you guys ever tried pumpkin manti? Let us know down in the comments. Giving this a shot. This is definitely not my specialty, but here goes. So start by stretching it out a little. Taking a little spoonful. Spoonful of pumpkin, onion. Start down here? Okay. So pinch it at the top and then start by working your way up the bottom. Pinching it near the bottom. It isn't looking so good. Didn't quite turn out the same. Let's try the other side.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Super.
Very amateur work. As you can see, the only nice fold on there is what she showed me. The rest, this is what it usually looks like when we make them at home.
This is what you
So all the manti have been stuffed and put in a steam basket, and right now behind me you can see them just steaming away.
So while those manti are cooking away, she's also preparing us a dessert called stanza. It's like a dough that she's made into a long, thin, rope-like shape, and then she fries it in oil, but using these two massive chopsticks, which you can't even really call chopsticks. They're basically just tree branches. And there's also a little bit of like a sour cream that's been cooked in oil inside of that dough.
Это просто на пробу. Сейчас.
So you can see this is the final product of the suns. I'm gonna try it out here, hot and fresh, out of the oil while we wait for the manti to cook. It's like a cracker, not sweet really, not savory, very simple. But what's really cool is the technique is so seemingly difficult to make this dish. I've never seen anything come out looking quite like this. All right guys, round two, time to try the manti. All right, we're sitting down now. I'm just looking at this massive pile of the sanza and remembering that this actually reminds me a lot of Chinese youtiao. It's just like a thin version of it. And we have the three different types of manti here. This one's with the jucai, which is that unique grass-like herb. And then back here we've got pumpkin. You can see it's coming through orange, and you can see this ugly one right here is the one Sabrina made. And then over here we've got the meat with onions, right?
Yeah.
Beef with onions, and wow, it all looks good. So I'm gonna make up a little sauce and then dig in. Okay, I've got a sauce of chili paste and a little bit of vinegar, and this is the meat manti with the onions. I'm gonna cut it open so that I can get that sauce in there. Grab my chopsticks here. Oh man, those are seriously juicy. Check that out, let's try. The wrapper is so thin, and then the meat isn't quite like dumplings that we have in Taiwan. It's more like chunks instead of minced, and then it goes nicely with that little bit spicy, little bit sour sauce. Yum, that's a great dumpling. So I'm gonna do everyone a favor and eat Sabrina's pumpkin. What? I'm just kidding. It looks good.
Don't be a hater.
Let me cut it open. And pumpkin dumplings, really unique. I think maybe we've tried them before in like Cantonese cuisine, but not for a very long time. You can see it's starting to break open a little bit here. And those chunks of pumpkin in there. Wow, super creamy. Really sweet pumpkin too. All right, last up is the jucai, this herb one. You can see the green color in there. And again, I gotta break these open because these are not one biters, they are two biters for sure. If you ate this in one bite, you're gonna burn yourself, and it's gonna be way too big of a mouthful. You can see all of that beautiful green jucai in there. Let's try it. It's a really fresh herbal flavor. That one is maybe my favorite actually. The flavor is really unique, but it's very earthy. So we're finished off with the man tea, and for dessert we're having a special Uyghur tea called Atgan chai. And so she started with black and green tea leaves. She added a little pinch of salt and some milk, and then on top of that she added kaimek, which is like the clotted cream that floats up to the top. I've never seen a tea quite like this. I'm excited to try it out. So this looks super interesting, the Atgan chai. I've never seen a tea prepared quite like this, and this is a typical Uyghur style tea, so let's try it out. Actually, it's not as powerful as I thought. It's just a nice milky tea with a slight savoriness. You get that kind of chunky kaimak on the top, which gives it a nice creaminess. Wow, that is really good. That itself is a meal. It's super filling. Put this inside. Oh, yep. The sanza. Oh, wow. So they informed me I should put the sanza inside and then eat this with a spoon, or just drink.
Yes.
Yeah, eat with a spoon.
Let it stay a little bit.
Oh, let it sit for a little bit? Okay, so we're gonna kind of let it soak up all the chai and then try it with a spoon. Look at that. Super cool. Okay, so the sanza's been sitting in the chai for a little bit here. Let's give it a try. It's still crunchy actually. Wow, even though it's been sitting there probably 3 or 4 minutes. Those go well together. Yum. Wow, we are beyond stuffed. The food was so good, and like I said earlier, it's so interesting to learn and experience the two types of Chinese Muslim cuisine and people living here in Kyrgyzstan. And although we're on the border of China, it's not just the influence coming over, it's actually the people living here and settled here in Kyrgyzstan, which is really interesting. So I want to say a huge thank you to Visit Karakol for arranging our day today. If you guys are planning a trip to Kyrgyzstan, definitely check them out, and their information will be down in the description box for you to book your own tour. And another huge thank you to Farhad and his family here for inviting us in. It was incredible. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified, and we'll see you on the next episode of Chopstick Travel. Bye.
Bye.